I know for sure that you are here not because you want to practice meditation, but because you were asked to sit for meditation. Isn't that right? For some of you, yes. And I'm really happy that you were truthful in the beginning. And I'm not going to give you precepts at this moment, because precepts are the ones that I never want to give to people. Those precepts are the ones that you must keep in your regular life after observing the precepts at least for one time in your life. Which means you take 5 precepts when you were 15 years old, and you are not going to take those 5 precepts again in your life. And that's keeping precepts. And precepts are like 5 fluids in a car. You have the fluid for the steering wheel, you have the gas, and you have brake oil, you also have the transmission fluid, and you have just oil. If you take these 5, you are basically having a perfect car to have a perfect ride. Just suppose that you don't have the brake fluid. What happens if you drive up top to a mountain and then happen to stop your car and you are trying to come down? Will you be successful? No. Why? Because you don't have the brake fluid, which is very important. So, with regard to your precepts, if you have your precepts perfectly, your life car will move perfectly without meeting any trouble, any difficulty. Which is why we must be very concerned about keeping our 5 precepts or 10 precepts or whatever the precepts that we are supposed to keep. Right? And if you happen to end up with no gas in a desert area, you never know how to get out from the desert, because you need to have gas in the car. And if you happen to end up somewhere in a forest without having the transmission fluid, the car will start falling apart. Because of that, we will encounter many problems. So, at the very beginning of this retreat, I really want to specifically say that please be concerned on your precepts. Don't worry about your past precepts or your future plans. None of them are important when you really sit in meditation. If you have the urge to understand something, to realize something for your life, I'm pretty sure that you will learn by giving the ear to somebody. So please make use of this event as an event that you learn something and you realize something, and assisting everybody to realize it. Is it clear? Okay. So for now, to relax, I will ask you all to close your eyes and sit as comfortable as you can, and have a smile, a little smile on your lips. You don't have to smile showing your teeth unless they naturally show up. You just smile from your heart and take a deep breath and relax. Keep doing relaxing your body and get familiar with your environment. You just hear the sounds, you just feel the sensations. You might have thoughts coming up flawlessly. You will have other distractions that you will give a name. Just observe them. In my case, I hear the vehicles moving and their sounds. I hear somebody moving around. I hear the tick-tick sound of the clock. I also hear some people breathing sometimes. And I get my thoughts, apart from the sounds, thoughts relating to your previous states or future states or whatever the plans in the future. So I will put a question to you to understand whether these thoughts and distractions are to be treated as enemies or not. Please think whether you should treat the distractions or your thoughts to be your enemies in your practice or not. Now again, please relax, taking a deep breath and releasing it, and open your eyes please, and let me know whether you have an answer for your question or not. Should we treat the distractions and thoughts to be our enemies in our practice of meditation? You say?
No.
No. But you have to say at the corner. Yes or no? No. You at the last end.
I didn't hear the question.
Do we have to treat the distractions of sounds or whatever, or the thoughts, to be our enemies or not? No. See, there you go. You have a better understanding of how to treat the distractions. That, like when we are sitting right now, in just normally, we just get the sounds, and that's a part of our life. That's a part of our being of the mind, right? The mind gets the attention of every single thing that moves. A sound is a movement. And for the defense purpose, what we try to do is the brain sends a signal to observe whether that sound is a harmful thing or not. If it is not a harmful thing like a tick tick sound of the clock, but the brain does it, it does not send any signals to that sound. And the body feels perfectly peaceful. Right? So these sounds or other distractions are for our defense purpose, for our protection. We just try to protect our bodies by giving some signals to the sound and observing it. And if it is not coming to make any harm to your body, you are not bothered anymore. So what happens in meditation? When you sit longer, when you start observing longer, your mindfulness starts being established, and those distractions are not distractions anymore because your brain is not bothered about them. Okay? You know, these are the regular sounds. Unless there is a sudden blast somewhere that you feel very curious about, to go and observe. And then you have to go and observe. Why? Because we have to protect ourselves. So we need to, for many people, sounds are distractions, but now we have heard the sounds of vehicles moving and their blowing of horns and all this, right? Like I remember when I first went to a Buddhist center to stay longer, I moved from a forest, which was like isolated place. It's not a forest center, but kind of a forest center because it doesn't have any sounds, distractions. But when I moved to this place where I live, I started hearing all these noises, sounds, and I couldn't sleep for 3 nights because of these vehicles. So what my body naturally did was to get used to it while observing what is happening over and over again. And then the body realized that, well, nothing to be bothered of, so it just let go of it. So we can't really let go of those things by just thinking that we let go. We just have to let the body to decide when to let go. That's why the Buddha specifically says in the 10th Sutta in Majjhima Nikaya, Mahasatipatthana Sutta, the greater discourse on establishing mindfulness, to have sampajanya, the quality of sampajanya for every one of you. That means full awareness. So this full awareness happens naturally. It's not like you buy something and eat. It's just you have to let it happen, let it come up in your process. Okay? So this particular word, sampajanya, comes from the word janati, which means knows. So pajanati means well understands. So what is meant by sampajanati? That means fully comprehending. Does it make any sense to you? That's how the awareness factor has to be developed, and this helps you to have a perfect meditation experience as you go deeper into meditation. Anyway, there was this Thai monk who never gave any talks to any people, but people were supporting him for such a long time, and these people were the ones who invite monks to come and give talks. But they never asked this monk to give a talk. But what they saw was this particular monk was just sitting and practicing meditation and coming for alms round and going back. This was his daily routine. But one day, the village headman wanted this monk to come and give a talk. So they prepared and they went and they invited the monk, and the monk silently accepted. So on a particular day, after making so many decorations and inviting so many thousands of people to come, the monk also came. And this monk saw the seat that was prepared and moved to the seat and sat on the seat, kept his legs crosswise and closed his eyes and just sat perfectly still for 2 hours. And these thousands of other people were there to listen to him. Okay? And what happened was, all these people were very anxious to, because they were waiting for the monk to open the mouth and talk. But he is not doing that. So they thought the monk has fallen asleep. So what they did was, they asked the village headman to ask the monk to, knock him and wake him up and ask him why he is not preaching. And then the village headman did that. The monk just spoke 2 words and left. So what 2 words he spoke? Any idea? What he said was, meditation is not for talking. Meditation is for doing. And that was his Dhamma talk. So, can I do that now? I can easily do that and leave, so you will understand what meditation is. It's true. Like, you don't have to invite many monks to talk about meditation, but what you just need to do is to listen to the monk and sit and see what happens. Knowing what meditation is doesn't bring you anywhere. It's just a sum of encyclopedias in your memory. Okay? In the Buddha's case, what happened was, the Buddha realized what is a clinging. Each one of us are having some clingings. For example, if you have some fear of height, if you have some fear of being isolated in a room, if you have fears on skeletons or passing by a cemetery or climbing up to a roof, these are clingings. The Buddha realized them very well by observing all the people's mind. Not only his mind, he observed everybody's. And how does it becomes a clinging? How does this particular fear becomes a clinging? It's a combination of your brain and of your mind. Like, the step before clinging in the dependent origination is craving. Right? Because of craving you have clinging. Isn't that true? Tanha pacca upadana. We know this by heart. So this craving means I like it mind or I don't like it mind. So the fear is the best example to understand this. If you have any fear, do you like it? No. You try to fight with it. Which means you have the I don't like it mind. Right? And because of your constant fight for such a long time, you develop a clinging in your habitual tendencies. You bring it with your life. It's like a big yakka, a demon, who is trying to put you down and keep you locked in a prison. And you never know that this particular thing is a clinging that you have. And because of that, you just let the clinging to decide your life. You're never going to climb up to a roof and clean your roof. You're never going to get isolated in a room because of that clinging. So, in general, the Buddhists, categorized all these clingings into lobha, dosa, and moha. I like it mind is lobha, the greed, and I don't like it mind is your aversion, right? And two of them together makes craving. And as you understand, it is I, me, my, or mine. What happens is there is delusion, moha. So this is how the Buddha treated all these other distractions or whatever. As you understand, then it can cause you craving, it can cause you clinging, it can cause you habitual tendencies. All these can be categorized into three groups as lobha, dosa, and moha. In every Bana program that we go, in an alms giving program, I hear monks preaching lobha, dosa, moha, but none of them interpret what is craving. If you interpret what is craving, people understand how to deal with this kind of craving. So, if you have any such clinging, by just trying to control it, you will never get to any place. But just finding them to be your friends, like you treat, it's just a distraction. It's not anything else other than a distraction that you should never treat as an enemy, but as a friend. So please understand this in your meditation. And I'm treating you people like those who have never listened to any meditation talks, but I know that you all have listened to so many meditation talks. And in meditation we have so many things to talk. So if you just feel like you should sit with your breathing practice, please go ahead, because it's the practice that you like. And I can teach you also how to practice the Brahma Vihara practice, which is Metta, Karuna, Mudita and Upekha. If you understand them perfectly enough, basing on the suttas, not from my own words, just from the Buddha's own words, you will also know the map on how to progress with your divine abodes practice. And if you want to learn how to practice Kasina meditation, it's up to you to decide. I barely know how to teach Kasina meditation except what I have read from the suttas. Because the most common practices that you find in the suttas are the metta practice or your breathing practice. So I'm just giving you the freedom to choose your own practice, but in case of a teacher who is teaching you to practice Brahma Viharas, you will have to forget all the habitual tendencies of practicing the breathing meditation and move or shift from the breathing practice to your Brahma Vihara practice, to experience the in-depth experience of your Brahma Vihara training. Okay. In about 20 to 25 minutes I will give you a break. I'm not letting you sit kind of longer, As I said, this is not any pain meditation, this is just a relaxing meditation. So just understand your mind to be something that is closed by 5 pieces of cloth. This is an emperor. We never know who the emperor is. This particular emperor is covered by 5 pieces of cloth. One is your helmet. The emperor has a helmet. emperor has a mask. So there are two pieces of cloth. And this emperor also has boots. So his legs are covered. He has a trouser. So the rest of the part of his body is also covered. So he has now four pieces. And he also has an upper shirt that covers every single part of his body, including his fingers. So that is the shirt. So there are five. And you don't see who is the emperor by just looking at the emperor. You don't know whether this person is a male or a female. You don't know whether he is 40 years old, 50 years old, 60 years old, or dead or living. So what are we supposed to do? To see the emperor, what we are supposed to do is to remove every single cloth. It just doesn't mean that we are making him naked. He has, of course, the underwears, but we are trying to see whether this person is a male or a female, 40 years old, or dead or living, whatever. So you just remove the helmet and you see the hair. It can be long. So males have long hairs, females have long hairs. So you still haven't decided whether the emperor is a male or a female. You remove the mask. You still cannot decide whether this person is a male or female, because sometimes in some countries you cannot decide the person by just looking at the face. They don't have beard, they don't have mustache. That's how they are biologically formed. So you still haven't decided whether this person is a male or female. So you have to remove the boots as well. Can you decide? No. You remove the upper shirt and the outer trouser. And now you can see the body features, not just the real body. You can see the body features. And when you see the body features, you know whether this is a male or a female, whether this person is 40 years old, 50 years old, whatever. So this emperor is your mind. It is covered by 5 pieces of cloth. Your mind is covered by seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting and physical sensations. And what is in is the mind. You remove the seeing part, you remove the hearing part, you remove the smelling part, you remove the seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting part and the physical sensation part to see the inside person. And how do you remove the seeing part? Just close your eyes. If you close your eyes, do you see anything? No. But after a while, your brain will try to see something, just the darkness. But if you keep watching a white wall like this, just sitting very next to it, since the brain has nothing to observe there, it will not send any signals to observe the wall, because it's just empty of things. So you will not start observing anything. You will just your brain will automatically shut down the seeing part. Got it? That's how you stop the seeing part. That's how you remove that piece of cloth. And like we discussed earlier about the sounds, the hearing part. Can you really stop a hearing part? Can you? Yes, to some extent, by just locking your doors and getting inside a room. But still, you will start to hear your heartbeat. You never know. You might as well start to hear your pulse rate. You never know. Because when you are very sensitive enough, you can hear your own body. What happens in the brain also are some sounds, like you just hear them. But if those sounds are regular sounds, since there is nothing to worry about, the brain will not be bothered and will not send any signals. Got it? So that part also will shut down. Not just by sitting 2 minutes and expecting you to be, turned off. No, it doesn't happen. And smelling part, there is a cushion over there. But what are you going to do with the smelling part? Do you smell anything right now? Yes, for those who have a scent or a perfume. No, for those who don't have anything around. But in general, if you go to an empty hut, like in the suttas, empty hut means where these 5 distractions are not there. It's empty of those distractions. I mean, less of those distractions, what we call sunyagara. If you go to a place like that, you don't have any smells. So that part will also be turned off. Clear? Good. And tasting part, you are not tasting anything right now, so that part is also turned off. And what is left is the physical sensations. Can you stop the pain that arises in your limbs or the numb feelings that you get? You can't. So that's why I was asking you to sit comfortably as long as you can, and then right after you start feeling any pain, you just stand up and move mindfully. Not just by dancing, right? You just move mindfully. Will your meditation be distracted? No, because you are moving mindfully. Right? So, you have the physical sensations. When you observe it clearly, when you be familiar with the physical sensations clearly, since they are not bothering you, that part will also turn off. So seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting and physical sensations are now gone. And what is left? The 6th sense. What is it? The real emperor that we have to deal with now. Your mind. The biggest struggle is to deal with your mind. It brings you the past memories, it brings you the future plans. So the mind is always in the move. Because it moves, the brain also activates different parts of your brain regions. Because of that, you don't feel very relaxed. But suppose you are perfectly relaxed with one of the objects of meditation that you like to keep, and with that object of meditation, since the brain is not giving any signals to any part of your body, the brain gets enough oxygen. When you have enough oxygen, you don't have the pain-causing air in your body. What are the pain-causing airs? The pain-causing airs can be nitrogen. I have heard that the space engineers who go to a space shuttle and make operations by fixing the problems of the space shuttle are asked to exercise really well before they put on their clothes and go out into the space. Why? Once they exercise enough, the pain causing air in the body will be gone. So you have less pains in the outer space. In the gravity, you can't just move easily like you walk on the earth. You just have to fly, right? So the pain, when the pain causing air has gone from your body, you have less pain and can stay longer in meditation. That's what happened with your brain. That's how you feel such a relaxing feeling with your meditation, because the brain is not busy as it used to be busy in its 40 or 50, 40 years of living. You just give a chance for the brain to have a break. Okay? And the other thing is, there is nothing called bad meditation. Suppose there is a man who is going to work every day of the week. He just get up in the morning and wash his face and go to work in the morning. And he doesn't get paid. And on Tuesday he talks to his wife and says, "No honey, I don't want to go to work." But still, he has to go to work to earn money and feed the family. So with some reluctant feelings, he still goes to work. And on the third day, which is Wednesday of the last week of the month, he still, hesitate to go to work. It's like a snake going like this. He just goes to the office and starts working, and he finishes end the date, and he comes back home. And he's extremely tired now. And when it comes to Friday, he gets paid enough. This is the last day of the month and he gets paid, and he's very happy on this day. And now he comes home and tells to his wife, "Dear, I will go to work only on Fridays." Is it a good logic? No, he got a salary because he worked every day. It's not because he worked on Fridays he got a salary. So there is nothing called bad meditation, as you treat them all as good meditation. Because you had bad meditation on other days, you get good meditation on some day. Right? This is what happens in meditation. You just get a good meditation and you never know when you will get a good meditation. So the man got paid on Fridays because he worked every day. So just doing meditation is enough. Right? Just doing meditation is enough. So now we will do some meditation. It's been 40 minutes of sitting for you, and you will walk freely, which will be your mindfulness of walking, as in the Satipatthana Sutta. You don't have to think that you walk. Please don't do that. I will tell you a story why you shouldn't do that later. There's enough sitting and I will talk later. So what you are supposed to do is just be mindful on what is happening in your mind and how it arises and how it passes away. The Buddha asked you to do it nearly 22 times in the Satipatthana Sutta. The Buddha is asking you to just be mindful of what is happening in your mind, not just observe like you are picking this, releasing it. That kind of thinking is not there. You just know that you are walking, and in the meantime you observe what is happening in your mind. Of course you are moving your left, right feet. But if you try to say this is left, this is right, but eventually you will, in your mind you will say left, right, but you are keeping your right for the left for the right. Why? Because it's like you are used to it like a mantra. You just recite the mantra, but you never know what you are doing. So it's always important that you just observe what is happening in the mind. It can be some class stuff, the report that you are supposed to write in the end, or the marks that you are going to get, or the end of the day today, what will happen to you, and making a call to somebody, just resist all these feelings and turn off all the outer distractions for now and start walking. And please come back to your seats mindfully. Today I don't have the bell, unfortunately, but I will find a bell in the meantime. So when you hear some meditation kind of sound, please move back to your cushions and take a deep breath mindfully and start relaxing as much as you can. I haven't taught you any meditation so far. It's just you know how the body works and how the mind works now. So understanding meditation will be the next step after you relax and come back. And if you want to go out and have water or use the washroom, you are free to do any of that. This is your body that you should treat as a friend. Okay? Okay, let's just start walking. We will make a row, and I will be in the front if you want to follow me, and we will make a line and come back after 2 times or 3 times of walking, and then start our practice. Okay? Good. So there is a good news that you are getting a Gilampas at 10 o'clock in the morning, and it's just almost there. Hopefully we will get it. And the Dayakya today is the captain. He wanted to do that, he's a person who is, coordinating or delegating all the devotees around to support these monks. So this time, without asking anybody, he wanted to offer the Gilampasa for himself. And I just need to count how many people are here today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. A good number. We assume that we will have 20 people, so we have almost 20. Any questions so far? What is this sutta in which the Buddha says those who ask questions will be born wise in the next lifetime, and those who don't ask any questions will be born stupid next lifetime? Anyway, I have a question. It can be Madhupindika Sutta or one of the Vedalla Suttas. It's in Majjhima Nikaya for sure. I think it's a Chula Vedalla Sutta. No, can't remember. So anyway, now when after your walking practice, you move to your cushions and you started sitting still. You were stilled in your mind and also in the body. Which meditation practice came to your mind? Did you feel like you are doing any meditation? For me, for example, I felt like I was radiating loving kindness to you all. I was doing that naturally. It happened maybe because for the past 3 months I've been practicing loving kindness meditation intensively. And I was trying to understand whether this is any habitual tendencies or not. But it was not. It was just how my being is. So I agreed and I let it do that. So I was radiating loving kindness, and I felt like having a smile on my face, and I was doing that naturally. So what came to your mind? Did anything come, or you just sat there? For you? Breathing or anything, or just sitting? Breathing. What? Same, breathing. Breathing. You?
Yes, I just know what I'm doing.
Just understood as things arise and pass away.
No.
Or what you are doing.
No, yes. I just know what I'm doing.
Just being aware.
Yes.
Okay. Good meditation. Well, everybody has done good meditation, but this is different from what others have done. This happens. Have you practiced meditation earlier? Yes.
Yes.
So this happens naturally, that you just become a person who knows what you are doing. You know what it's called? It's called sampajanya. Sampajanya. Just being fully aware on what you are doing. So naturally your mindfulness is being established, and it is an awakening factor, one of the 7 awakening factors. And about your case, please, breathing or metta or what, or no meditation? Just tell me, if it was no meditation, it's a meditation. I like to hear that. Yeah, breathing. Metta. See, there is a rare example of me doing metta and him doing metta. You have a question over there. Metta. Good. Very nice. Metta or breathing? Metta. Breathe. So we have 4 people who were doing metta. Maybe they felt my metta. You feel it actually. You do. Like if you radiate loving kindness to your mom, she might want to call you right now because she feels that. And she might tell you that, Bhante, I was thinking of you. She feels that. So metta is a universal law that you can't create, but it's there. This universal law is something that you can make use of. And if you have metta, if you burn your fingers, it will get cured immediately or very quickly because of the power of metta. There is an aura-like thing around your body, a light that heals your body. That's why in the Mettani Sansa Sutta, the Buddha says, you will not be burnt as a result of metta meditation practice. It doesn't mean that you are not being burnt. It means your skin will be affected by the fire, but you will not be burnt as much as the others who are not practicing metta meditation. It depends on how far you have practiced your metta meditation, okay? This not being burnt is one of the 11 benefits of metta practice that we can discuss. So it seems the Gilampasa is ready and we can have the Gilampasa now. What we are doing today is just discussing most of the parts and just getting used to what meditation really is and shaping up what you know already about meditation. So anyway, at 10:45 we will stop for the lunch and we will meet back at around 1 o'clock if you guys are here. So that's how we plan it, and we are not going to run for up to 4:30. We might stop a little bit earlier, and it's up to you to keep the practice, because meditation doesn't mean that you have to sit all the day. But if you can at least manage to sit for 6 hours, not continuously but with breaks, that would make a perfect meditation experience. So please be sure to choose at least 1 or 2 hours in the morning, but it happens naturally. You can't sit 2 hours purposely. It happens naturally, okay? This sitting always has to happen naturally, not that you plan it. Like there was a little Podihamdruo who had what we call joysticks, handunkuru, and he had a bunch of these handunkurus, and he lit all of them, and he was burning them, and he kept them next to him, and he thought, okay, until these joysticks are all burnt, he will not stand up. That was his meditation. But he was sitting like this, and after 15 minutes he opened his eyes to see whether these joysticks are gone or not. No, they are still burning. So he is very anxious in his mind, because he is just waiting until these joysticks to be burnt. And is it a good meditation? No. So the sitting happens naturally. If you feel like sitting longer, you just sit. And some days you are not feeling like sitting for meditation. Like some days are cloudy and some days are not. You see the blue sky on some days. You just know that there is this blue sky. It's empty of things. You are not agitated badly, but you don't feel like sitting for meditation. But still, if you have understood what is meditation, you will know how to keep your practice all the day long. How you do that is just by observing. Like I just let you all talk and have gilampasa freely. But in strict meditation centers, you are not allowed to talk. They say they are practicing vipassana meditation. And when I read the suttas, how they can separate vipassana practice from all the other meditation teachings. You can't do that. So your practice has to be a practice that you keep in all your regular activities. So the modern man has to be able to practice his meditation while working in the office. You are writing stuff, you are checking your Facebook status, you are responding to your emails, but still you know that you are meditating, you are keeping your practice. How you do that is just by observing how things arise and how things get disappeared. Not why things arise and why things do not get disappeared. So you will understand that whatever that arises will pass away. This pain, this sorrow, this worry, this grief, this loneliness, all are conditioned sankhata dhammas. So what is beyond sankhata dhammas is asankhata dhammas. So asankhata is a name for nibbana. Why? Because nibbana is not conditioned. You are falling into a not conditioned situation. You just have nothing to hold on in your mind. Falling into cessation happens naturally. So this we never know when it can happen. When causes and conditions are ready, you know for sure that it is the time for the cessation to happen. So this cessation can be one-time cessation, which means sotapanna state. It can be a best kind of second level cessation, that will be sakadagami cessation, and it can be the third level, which will be anagami cessation. And if it happens perfectly at once, that's the arahat fruition. You are arriving at the fruition of the arahatship. So it's common to all the meditation, all the Buddhist traditions to have the enlightenment by one way or the other. Doesn't matter whether you become a bodhisattva or a Buddha. So the arahant is also called a Buddha in some suttas, which means you are just becoming an enlightened person. So for this you need to have your perfections ready. If you are a generous person, it's easy for you to radiate loving kindness. If you are a giver, like there are some students I have noticed, they always want to give things to others. They give scholarships to poor students, they give whatever they have. They don't keep everything, they share. Because they feel like they are getting because they have given. This generosity is a perfection, paramita quality. So when generosity your sila, morality has come to a fruition as a perfection. Doesn't mean that you are becoming a Buddha, but you will be ripened enough. Ripened enough means like a fruit. Ripened enough to be a winner. Generosity, morality, dana, sila. Nekkhamma is another perfection, renunciation, right? Nekkhamma, dana, sila, nekkhamma. Panya, wisdom. Virya, effort. Kanti, tolerance. Satya, speaking the truth. Aditthana, determination. Metta, the loving kindness, and upekha, equanimity. When all these things have come to a certain level of, a conditioned level, there is nothing wrong can happen. Something beautiful will happen. And it can be a blissful meditation experience that we never know when it can happen. So please let go of the controller of trying to control your feelings, trying to control your thoughts. Just be yourself and relax and understand your character. But character understanding, like 5 years ago, I thought I am a person like this. I'm a person who never gets angry or type of like that. But I used to get angry at certain levels. I get angry with objects, not those living beings. Not with dogs and cats or people, but just objects. For example, your mouse, that doesn't work. What you do, you just smash it off because you get very anxious and angry. So you realize that you are a person who gets angry with that experience. Like for a child, they never have any lust, but they do have lust as underlying tendencies, but lust arises with your hormones and the rest of the conditions are ready. So you will also know the law of the nature. When all the other good conditions are ready, your meditation will become a successful meditation. Right? The extreme winner is what we call the Sotapanna. Is a person who understands the view of a self perfectly. That there is no self. But when I was teaching this kind of I had a meditation group in University of Trento in Italy. I was teaching to my colleagues, my students. There were 15 people coming. And what they told me was, it's easy for them to believe that there is a self than trying to understand that there is no self. It's common to every one of you until you really touch from your mind whether there is a self or not, from your own experience. So when you have understood this for yourself, nobody can revert you, nobody can say no, or nobody can speak against your understanding. So that part has gone, and you have no doubts. No doubts in the Buddha's teachings, in the Buddha, in the Noble Sangha. You don't have doubts in the future birth or in the past lives. And you have no doubts in your practice of the path. So what happens is you really understand that this is the real path. You let go of all the doubts of trying to understand other paths. And also what happens is your wrong practices, like during the Buddha's days, there were those other heretic teachers who sat for 8 hours, or stood by 1 feet, or stayed without blinking. So those practices are not conducive to Nibbana. You understand it for yourself. So what three fetters were gone by then? Sakkaya Ditthi has gone, that the view of a self, that there is a self. It took such a long time for me to even understand what is just the meaning of the Sakkaya Ditthi. So how people will easily get it? I know that it's not easy to get it. So isn't it hard that not trying to be somebody means not to claim that you are a Sotapanna or Sakadagami or somebody? Like once this rich man, who was a very supported person to Ajahn Chah, Venerable Ajahn Chah, who died in 1994 in Thailand, came to this Venerable and asked, what meditation are you doing? Because this person was kind of a very great supporter, people thought that the monk will give a kind of a detailed answer. But what he did was, he said, I'm just eating, I'm just sleeping, and I'm doing my regular activities. And the man thought, well, this seems like a special answer. Suppose I ask a different question. He asked, people say that you have attained the arahantship. That's why you are giving this kind of answers. Is it true or not? So somebody will expect the monk to give a direct answer, right? Whether he is an arahant or not. But we know that those who are arahants cannot say that they are arahants. And why? And what was the answer given by this monk? What he said was, just think of a tree which has fruits. The tree has fruits, right? And some birds are coming to taste the fruits. And for the birds, the fruits can be of the sour taste, can be of the sweet taste, or can be of no taste. But for the tree, it's just a sound of birds hanging around. What a brilliant answer, isn't it? So the monk, what he meant was, like, he's just like a tree. He doesn't care whether he is an arahant or whether some people judge him to be a good person or a bad person, whether he is the best speaker in the entire world or not. It is just these people, just these birds. That's how they are, and this is how I am. So that's what his answer was. We are all like just the trees. This is what happened when the Buddha was enlightened. He sat under a tree. Nobody knows that these trees are so powerful, they can communicate, and they have an energy that we never can see. But when you sit under a tree, it's easy for you to have a relaxed, state of meditation, because your energy and the energy of the tree gets unified. This perfectly happened with the Bodhisattva, who had a brilliant experience of meditation up to the level of attaining the neither perception nor non-perception through his mind, surpassing the Uddaka Ramaputta, the Rama's son, who taught his father's teachings, who didn't know any level, but he just taught the Bodhisattva to come to that level, that as in the sutta. He didn't have the neither perception nor non-perception experience, but he told the Buddha that, okay, I am teaching you what my father taught, please try to do if you can. And when the Buddha came to that quality, the Rama's son said, okay, you are equal to my father's level, why don't you come and help me to teach all the students? You become equal to my place. He had this kind of experience, and the Bodhisattva even left that place, and he went and sat under a tree, and he started thinking about the universe. And do you think that he didn't have 5 hindrances on the day he sat under the tree to attain the Nibbana, the full enlightenment. He did have hindrances. That's why we know that there were these Maras. Mara's daughters were dancing, which means there were these hindrances at the boundary. They can come up, but he saw how these things arise and how things pass away. He saw them arising dependently, and he realized that things are dependently arisen, and when causes and conditions are gone, nothing can dependently arise. This is what happened. So he just became a tree, just a part of the nature. He just got united with the tree. So we need to understand this nature within us in order to be able to cope with anger, any negative emotion like fear or any other problems you have. So back to the story, I was talking about becoming a stream winner, which is a Sotapanna state. What happens is, you understand your own nature, that there is no self. Like suppose, I was talking about the emperor earlier, whose 5 clothes are there. What you do is you remove them. And you removed seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting and physical sensations. What is left is your mind. And the mind has these thoughts coming up. Thoughts relating to lust, thoughts relating to aversion, and neutral thoughts. All these thoughts can make a little movement in your body, slight movement that we never notice. So these thoughts are there, and you even let the thoughts to be stilled by using an object of meditation. That's why we need a kammatthana, what we call an object of meditation. Kammatthana. Kamma is the duty of meditation. Thana is the object or the place. Establishing your mindfulness basing on an object. You simply observe the object, and the mind has only one thing to do at that time. You are not trying to focus like reading a book, because the Buddha is always asking you to become an observer, just to observe what is arising and passing. And there you establish yoniso manasikara quality. Do you really know the meaning of this word? Awareness of the mind. Yes. But the Buddha's advice, not for me, but for Arahants, was to explain the words from Sattang Sabhyanjanam, right? With word by word. So I am trying to explain the word in Pali to you. Yoni is the place that something can originate. The birth canal. You know the word in Sinhalese and in Pali. Yoni is the word for the birth canal. Right? Where the birth happens. So why this word is there in the Yoniso Manasikara? Is because the birth canal of your thoughts, you catch the thoughts when they arise. For that you need to have awareness. So means, by means of the birth. Manasikara means contemplating. Kara means doing, manasikara means doing in the mind, means contemplating. So yoniso manasikara means just catching you have to be really mindful to catch the thought as it arises. And that's meditation. So this is what we are doing after we catch the real emperor, the one we have to deal with in meditation. So as you keep doing this, the mind will not like it, because it's not the regular practice the mind was doing. The mind was watching movies, mind was watching your mobile phone, Facebook status, your whatever you had to do, studying and reading, you have exams, you are doing all that. But however, when the mind has less thoughts, it always has thoughts, but when it has less thoughts, even in the jhanas, I had a big problem whether jhanas having thoughts or not. But I realized after reading 3-4 suttas, in there you are just an observer. In order to observe, you have to have thoughts, some thoughts which are kusala thoughts, wholesome thoughts, just to understand that this is a jhana. But the biggest misunderstanding is that in the jhanas there are no thoughts, which means you are absorbed to something. The Buddha let go of being absorbed to something. He just was aware of what is happening in the jhana and he just let open himself. And another understanding is that you understand the jhana after coming out from the jhana, which can happen if you are really, if you have like hypnotized with the jhana. Vashikara ganwa kiyala kiyanne. You are charmed with the jhana. You don't have to do that. If you are understanding, these are just steps, footprints that you just pass by when you walk in the path conducive, along the path conducive to Nibbana. Anyway, back to the mind and the stream winner status, you just become the mind at a certain point of your meditation. And when you become the mind, you are not trying to be somebody, you just are the mind. You are not a Sotapanna. You cannot say you are an Arahant because there is no person to say that there is an Arahant, right? How can you say I am an Arahant or I am a Sotapanna when in the reality there is no person within us? This is just logic until you understand the reality. So there will be a moment in your meditation, a time that you have all the sense doors turned off, including the mind, including a state where there is no thought coming up. So what happens to your so-called mind? It's trying to hold on to something and it releases. That's how the liberation happens. For example, now I will show you whether there is a gap in between my words or not. When I am talking, I will put some gaps and I will ask you a question later. Now I am talking to you all. Did you have any thoughts in between? Or kind of empty feelings? It's kind of empty, right? You have less thoughts. It's just a trick. When I am keeping these gaps in between the words, you don't really see anything happening. You are just waiting for something to happen. This is a little state where you understand that the mind can stay without thoughts. There is this Zen story, if you like to listen to it. The Zen story says that there was a teacher who was having the habit of taking one student on a walk every day. And the golden rule is that you are not supposed to talk. You cannot speak any single word. So there was this new student on one day who accompanied the teacher up to top of a mountain, and he saw a beautiful sunset, and he couldn't help saying, "What a beautiful sunset." He said it. He broke the golden rule, and the teacher heard the words, and he stopped the walk, and he stopped the student also walking, and he went back to the monastery and asked all the students to come in front and said, "I am not allowing this particular student to take a walk with me anymore in the future." And the other students were shocked and said, "Teacher, He's just a new student and he just broke the rule for one time. Just allow him to accompany you. He doesn't know whether he did the big mistake or not. Just forgive him for one time. And then the teacher said, when my students said, what a beautiful sunset, he was watching the beauty of the words, not the real beauty. And if you all understand the difference between just saying what a beautiful sunset and observing the real beauty as it is, you will understand a great piece of Dhamma. That was his advice. You see some beautiful things like flowers, some really beautiful flowers, but you never know how to put the beauty into words, because words are conditioned. You have a limited number of words to speak. That's why during the past, people say that we were able to communicate with animals, but now we have a language that has been, formed, that has formed a long period of time. So you are caught in that language. So you are not paying attention to the language of the animals, and you never know how to interact with animals except some who lived with animals for such a long time. Like Goodles is a lady who was accepted to a chimpanzee society by chimpanzees by living 15 years with chimpanzees in a forest. She was taken into the lowest class of chimpanzees by the chimpanzee leader. She was able to do that. But because now we have a language, we are not listening to the language of the animals. So we were really able to communicate with animals those days. Because we have a language, because we read things. Now this is Pallekale, this is SIBA, and we have a picture about it. And we are caught in it. So these words are all conditioned. Thoughts are all conditioned. And Nibbana is unconditioned once again. Nibbana is unconditioned. So if you see something really beautiful, we will try to say it is beautiful, of course. We will. But still we know that we cannot really explain that beauty. I'm not putting any rule for you to say no, it's not beautiful, or not to say anything when you see something beautiful. Just say that this is beautiful and just stay there for some time to get absorbed or just observe the beauty. Okay, it's 10:45 almost. So becoming a Sotapanna is just being the nature, just trying to understand yourself and be in the nature, just letting go of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting and physical sensation, and being the mind. And the mind, when it has no thoughts, has no place to fall in. Like there is this state called neither perception nor non-perception. No perceptions are there, or there is a little perception that there is mind. But still, when that has gone, when you are not holding on to that state, the mind has nothing to hold on to, so it falls into cessation. There you understand that there is no person in it to control, to let go. And there you just let go of letting go. Thank you for listening.